Good day, everyone. Today we're going to discuss the neo-behaviorism. But first, my name is Kervin J.S. Tikatko from BSED 3D. First slide, learning is a purposive and goal-oriented. Tolman believed that organisms do not react automatically to stimuli. Instead, they act with purpose, based on goals, beliefs, expectation, and current condition. Example, a student study hard, not just because the teacher tells them to, but because they want to pass the exam and get good grades or to achieve a future career. Their behavior is driven by a goal, not simply an external command. For the second slide, connective maps. A connective map is a mental representation of a place, situation, or layout. Once a person learns where something is, they can find it again using different routes. For example, you go to the mall. For the first time, discover that the food court is on the third floor. And next time, um, even if the escalator you said is blocked you can still reach the food court by finding another route. And just like Tolman's rat experiment, showed that the rats find a shortest path to the food once they know the location. And showing they use mental maps, not just trial and error. Latent learning. Latent learning is a learning that happens without immediate reinforcement and may not shown right away, but become useful later when needed. Example, a child often watch their parents cook and they didn't know how to cook or didn't even try to cook. There is no proper reinforcement in that situation. But one day, when they needed to prepare food, they can suddenly use that skill they quietly learned. The learning was there all along, it just wasn't shown until it was needed. And for another example, a student listened in class, wherein, without studying actively during the quiz, they surprisingly remember the correct answers. And that is not intentionally memorized.
Reinforcement not essential for learning. So Tolman concluded that reinforcement is not essential for learning, although it provides incentive performance. Learning is mediated or influenced by expectations, perceptions, representations, needs, and other internal variables. So ayon daw kay Edward Tolman, hindi laging kailangan ang reinforcement or known as reward or punishment. So para matuto ang isang tao, naniniwala siya na ang learning ay nangyayari dahil sa pag-iisip, perception at expectation, hindi lang dahil sa may reward. Ibig sabihin, pwedeng matuto ang tao kahit walang papremyo basta't naiintindihan niya ang sitwasyon. For example, class is yung isang estudyante ang palaging dumadaan sa parehong daan papuntang school. Hindi niya sinasadya na alalahanin yung mga signs pero alam niya ang lahat ng daan. So let's proceed to social learning theory by Albert Bandura. So sinasabi sa social learning theory na natututo tayo sa pamamagitan ng panonood sa ibang tao at panggagaya sa kanilang ginagawa, hindi kailangan na maranasan natin mismo ang consequence, pwedeng matuto tayo sa nakikita natin. For example, is kung nakita ng bata na pinupuri ng teacher ang classmate niya, sa pagiging maaga, gagayahin niya ito para makuha ang parehong praise. Ayan. So, ang social learning theory is also called observational learning. So, natututo sa pamamagitan ng pagmamasid sa iba. Second is learning through observing. So, tinitignan natin ano ang ginagawa nila at ano ang nangyayari sa kanila. And last is we learn outcomes without doing it ourselves. So, parang yung nasa isip natin is, pag ginawa ko yan, ganito rin mangyayari sa akin. Ganon. So, for example, is kung nakikita mong napapagalitan yung kapatid mo dahil hindi siya nagligpit, matututo kang magligpit para hindi ka mapagalitan. Isa pang example class is yung kung nakikita mo ang parents mo na mabait sa kapitbahay, gagayahin mo rin ito at magiging magalang ka rin.
Good day everyone, I'm Jaira Bulatao and I will discuss the types of observational learning. Observational learning simply means learning through watching others. Hindi mo na kailangan gawin agad ang isang behavior para lang matutunan ito. Minsan pinapanood mo lang, natututo ka na. Isa ito sa pinakamahalagang paraan kung paano tayo natututo sa classroom, sa bahay, at sa pang-araw-araw natin. First is inhibition. Inhibition happens kapag natututo tayong iwasan ng isang behavior dahil nakita natin ang negative consequences nito sa iba. Example is kapag nag-cheat yung kaklase mo. So nakita mo na napagalitan yung kaklase mo dahil nag-cheat. So ikaw dahil sa observation mo, nagkakaroon ka ng self-control at hindi mo na ginawa yung behavior na yon. Next is disinhibition. Disinhibition happens kapag mas nagiging kumpiyansa tayong gawin ng isang behavior dahil nakita natin itong ginagawa ng iba. Example is, nahihiya ka dapat sumayaw, pero nung nakita mong lahat ng classmate mo sumayaw, sasayaw ka na rin. Ibig sabihin, nabawasan yung hiya mo dahil sa nakita mong behavior ng iba. Next naman is facilitation effect. Facilitation happens kapag mas nagiging possible o madali para sa atin ng isang behavior dahil nakita natin na ginagawa ito ng iba. Example nito is, kapag nakita mong nagvo-volunteer yung friends mo, nag-encourage ka rin na mag-volunteer. So, seeing others do it makes you more likely to do it. Next is the 4 processes of observational learning. Para maganap ang observational learning, kailangan ng 4 na process. Which is, ito ang first, attention. Kailangan nakatuon ang attention natin sa model para mapansin ang behavior. Example nito is, pinapanood mo si teacher habang nagtuturo kung paano siya mag-solve. Next is retention. Ito naman ang pag-alala sa behavior na na-observe mo. Example nito is kahit tapos na yung lesson, naalala mo pa rin yung steps ng tinuro sa'yo ng teacher sa lesson nyo. Next is reproduction. Ito ang kaya mo nang i-perform o gayahin ang behavior. Example is pag ginaya mo na mismo yung dance steps. That is reproduction. And lastly, motivation. Ito ang reason para gayahin mo ang behavior, maaaring reward, papuri, o personal goal. Example nito is ginagalingan mong sumayaw kasi sasali ka na ang contest. So, overall, observational learning influences our behavior through inhibition, disinhibition, facilitation, and the 4 important processes, which is attention, retention, reproduction, and motivation.
So, good day everyone. This is contemporary social learning perspective of reinforcement and punishment. So, what is reinforcement and punishment? Reinforcement and punishment have indirect effects on learning. They influence whether an individual will perform a learned behavior. The expectation of reinforcement affects cognitive processes that promote learning. So, we have 3 forms of reinforcement. The first one is direct reinforcement. Occurs when an individual watches a model perform, imitates the behavior, and is reinforced or punished by some individual. So, here in direct reinforce occurs when an individual watches a model perform. So, in the photo shown, he complimented what he watches. So, he said, very good. The next one is vicarious reinforcement. The observer anticipates receiving a reward for behaving in a given way because someone else has been so rewarded. So here in vicarious reinforcement, says, observer anticipates receiving a reward for behaving in a given because someone else has been so rewarded. So in the photo shown, it says, I'll study in advance just like him. So he praised the other student because he got rewarded. So the next one is self-reinforcement. The individual strives to meet personal standards and does not depend on or care about reaction of others. Just like the word self-reinforcement, it says his does not depend or care about reaction of others. This photo shown says, how do pollen grains look like in actual? So they perform as their own. They don't depend on others, or they don't care about the reaction of others. So that's it. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Manny Linchi Aliaga, and I will be reporting to you the 3 kinds of reinforcement. So I will just be reading to you the content of our PPT. So number 2 ay ang vicarious reinforcement. So, the observer anticipates receiving a reward for behaving in a given way because someone else has been so rewarded. So, basically, vicarious reinforcement, this refers to the process where an individual's behavior is influenced by observing others' behavior. So, for instance, yung behavior mo ay nai-influensyahan based sa mga nakita mo mula sa iba. So, ang sabi niya dito, vicarious reinforcement refers to the process where an individual's behavior is influenced by observing the consequences of someone else's actions. This concept is often used in social learning theory, suggesting that people learn new behaviors by observing others and imitating their actions. Pangatlo ay ang self-reinforcement. This is where the individual strives to meet personal standards and does not depend on or care about the reactions of others. So, wala siyang pakialam sa kung ano man ang maging reaction ng iba sa kanya. So, self-reinforcement, this is when you reward or punish yourself for your own behavior that will influence your future actions. It's like giving yourself a pat in the back or a gentle push to keep on going. So, example ng self-reinforcement ay ang pag-i-spoil mo sa iyong sarili, or you treat yourself to a better meal after reaching a goal, and reflecting on your accomplishment to boost motivation. So, all in all, self-reinforcement helps build self-motivation, self-control, and the confidence.